Hi there, Jean Greer here at Stylish Fireplaces. Today I want to introduce you to our Avalanche brick veneer. So the Avalanche brick is a white brick, and you see it on the wall here behind me and on this display. It is a man-made brick that is made into individual pieces, and then now those pieces are applied to the wall, very much like a tile. The sample, if I show you, you can see that's the thickness of the brick. It's about 3/8 of an inch, and then that's the face of it. So these are all individual pieces. They've been molded to look like authentic reclaimed brick that's been painted. The great thing about Avalanche is it comes in this white color. So if I want the look of a reclaimed brick wall and that I've painted over, this gets me there without the painting step. So if I like that look of white brick, all I need to do is apply the Avalanche brick to my wall and then use the white mortar in between the bricks. So with brick veneers, it is like tile in the sense that you apply it to the wall with the same type of adhesive, the same type of mortar that you would use with tiles. So anybody who's worked with tile would be very comfortable with these individual bricks. And then rather than putting grout over the tile as you do with ceramic tiles to fill in the gaps in between the tiles, with brick you're actually squeezing mortar into the joints in between the bricks. So the mortar that you see on the sample is not there when you put the bricks on the wall. So you've got to space your bricks using tile spacers as you would with ceramic tiles. And then once it's dry, you're going to apply the mortar in between the joints. And that's done with a mortar cone, which for people who are more familiar with kitchen terms would be like a giant piping bag. And you're squeezing the mortar in between the joints. And it's a different mortar than we're using to adhere the tile to the wall or to adhere the brick to the wall. So the mortar that puts it on the wall is much like, I say, a tile mortar, a tile adhesive, and then we squeeze a different type of mortar in between the bricks. And if you use the white, then you've got the look of a white painted brick without doing any painting. So it does save you that extra step, and obviously this finish is going to be, I don't want to say baked in, but it's part of the brick, so we don't have to worry about repainting it later. So it's called Avalanche, obviously in reference to the white color. It's part of a series of brick veneers that we get from a Canadian company out of Montreal. And I just really like the authenticity and the look of this particular brick veneer. I personally like the look of taking a brick like this and making it look as if the wall were always there in the house, and it just adds some character. But we've painted over it over the years, and so we've ended up with a white brick wall. It's a very clean look. It's a little bit rustic, a little bit retro, but not to the extent of making the house too country casual, if that's not your objective. The white makes it clean enough to kind of play a background role in a lot of different interiors or around fireplaces for sure. So the Avalanche bricks are about 3/8 of an inch. So it is something that needs to be cut like a tile. So in our case, we used a wet saw to cut these bricks as we were applying them. They really do go up very much like individual subway tiles, that sort of thing. So the types of tools and the types of mortar and adhesives are very much like putting up a tile. So it's something that is very doable for a do-it-yourselfer. The most challenging part of individual bricks is the spacing. Those of us that aren't used to doing that every day, and we do put up our own materials in our showroom just so we can experience what it's like to put them up from a DIY perspective. We are definitely not professional installers when it comes to the wall materials. We can install fireplaces, but the wall materials, we're amateurs like many of our homeowners who are buying fireplaces. And the brick is very doable. The most challenging part is really the spacing for somebody who doesn't do that every day. I've seen tile guys fly across the wall with those spacers and no problem. But we find that probably the most challenging. And then once everything is spaced nicely and you've kept your level, it's just going back afterwards with the white mortar and filling it in. But you could also use a gray mortar here or a darker mortar if you wanted to really accent the light and dark. So it's not, you don't have to have all white here. As I say, the mortar isn't included between the bricks. So you're going to apply that, and unless you specifically get a white mortar, you could also do other colors or other grays or darker mortars. So just keep it in mind because you get a very different graphic look with a different mortar here. So depending on whether you're going for that painted look as we have, or whether you want it to look like the bricks were actually white and we've put it up with regular mortar. There are different ways to go there, obviously. But we particularly like the freshness of the white on white. So again, this is Avalanche brick veneer. It is a man-made individual brick product sold by boxes, as is tiles. So there's so many square feet in a box, and that would be your least quantity is per box. And you can find that at stylishfireplaces.ca. We keep our wall coverings and other add-ons under fireplace add-ons on our navigation bar. So scroll down under fireplace add-ons and look for the brick products.